Good evening, friends. Today, we speak about why money is the mantra for Bollywood. Everything that they do leads to this, and only this matters. Nothing matters as far as traditions, values, or principles are concerned. Forget about even patriotic zeal. They don't care for a healthy, progressive society because they are on a mission written by Pakistan to degenerate our society. Just like the Kerala gold scam, which is allegedly state sponsored, with many people from the government involved to fund terrorism and spread hatred among communities, this too is a proxy war where everything from drugs to cinema, which is a powerful medium, and arms are used as proxy war. So, what you see as Bollywood hypocrisy is a deliberate attempt to confuse the public, wooing people to go to theaters with movies of people we admire, like Modi ji and Sushant, are supposed to get us back into the theater habit. Many of us have become intelligent enough to know this. Don't fall prey to this agenda, which is only a means for them to make money for themselves and their masters. Money is their mantra, not ours. We have a lot more to lose, and our behavior will affect the next generation. So mold them to be clean, caring, and patriotic. What we have come to realize in the coming days is that there is no limit to hypocrisy in Bollywood. For example, yeah, there's no limit to hypocrisy in Bollywood. For example, Karan Johar wanted to show the brave story of Gunjan Saxena in a biopic. Instead of sticking to the truth, he indirectly mocked the Indian Air Force and projected them as sexist to please Pakistan. Any attack on our forces will please our neighbor. No end. Most Bollywood movies are agenda driven. What the fraternities say and what they do are totally the opposite. And every time the public, the police, and the courts pull Bollywood up, some political godmother or godfather miraculously helps them to reinvent themselves and rescues them before they hit the depths of depression. So, what is in the latest? What is the latest in the Bollywood thali? A word popularized by the wife of the great Badshah of Bollywood, Jaya Bachchan. This time, the thali has an interesting mix. It is going to move away from movies like My Name is Khan to Mere Desh Ki Dharti type of movies. This is what they are promising. Yes, I know you're smiling. Not that we have any qualms if they make good films with good content. But when this attempt comes at a time when they are driven to the corner, it becomes suspect. I believe they are going to whitewash their images, just like what lawyer Satish Manishinde tried to do with Riya Chakravarti with friendly media, but failed miserably. Now, the Padma Shri kids, the Nepo kids, Ekta Kapoor, Karan Johar, and their gang, along with a director like Anand L. Rai and some others, have decided to digress from the paths they have traveled so far. Whatever be their selfish reasons, the latest trick in their book is the initiative for a new strategy that Bollywood is resorting to, which is termed the change within. Fancy words that are normally used by shrinks, like what was used or what was seen on Ria's t-shirt, violets are blue, roses are red, which can affect people's perception about them. In other words, the same formula in a new bottle to change people's perception about them and their intentions. So Ekta Kapoor, Karan Johar, and others have pledged to make inspiring content about valor, values, and the culture of India to celebrate 75 years of the country's independence. This is what they had to say as they celebrated the spirit of freedom. It is our stories that make us who we are, and every corner of our country has an empowering tale to tell. As we embark on this new journey, it witnesses a fresh beginning of the grand era of storytelling to cherish the soul of the idea called India. Wow, such grand words coming from the mouths of these people. Very impressive. They further go on to say, drawing inspiration from our Honorable Prime Minister, from whom we seek sustained guidance. We, the members of the film fraternity, are privileged to announce our plan to celebrate the 75th year of independence. The filmmakers said they will soon be joined by more creative contributors for the initiative. In her tweet, Ekta Kapoor thanked PM Modi for including her in his vision for the country. This is hilarious. When did the Prime Minister do that, Ekta? Is my question. It's like Akshay saying he will contribute part of the funds that he receives for his AI game 4G to Atmanirbhar Fund. It's very grand of you to do that. But then you would need the Prime Minister's permission to do that, Akshay. And they will check all the details about the project, how it was made, the sources, everything, before they accept any funds from you, Akshay. And Ekta, you should show us exactly where PM has included you in his vision for the country. Was there any written message or a tweet? It would be good if you could share it with us. After the joint visit to the Prime Minister's residence sometime back last year, some of these Bollywood characters have decided they are closer to the PMO than his mother. Yes, Ekta's closeness with Cabinet Minister Smriti Irani has been revealed constantly on social media, where they praise and pat each other for small things. I'm sure you remember the 14-kilometer barefoot walk to Siddhivinayak temple to celebrate Smriti's Amethi victory, where Ekta walked with Smriti and her baby. Ekta called Smriti her soul sister. Smriti also, in return, made a very special video to wish and thank Ekta, featuring all the artists of Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, to make her 45th birthday rather special. And she also wrote in Hindi, which I'm translating, "We came together after so many years so that we could wish you a happy birthday. We are those people who perhaps bought our first houses and cars because of you. We reunited because we love you." Ekta's birthday was on June 7th. Many will realize today that this date holds great significance, as many details about this event are emerging in the Disha and Sushant case. CBI is investigating what happened. We can discuss this when they come out with the truth at a later point. Ekta Kapoor has been known to manipulate everything from scripts to live shows to get her point across at any cost. People who have experienced this have spoken of it. While she shows off that she is the one who gives chances to youngsters in TV serials, it is told by many who have worked with her, including Payal Rohatgi, that she also exploits them by giving them a pittance and paying them after something like 3 months. How do youngsters who leave their villages or cities manage to live there? Her narratives have only encouraged rifts in joint families where everyone hates each other and wants to kill each other, and deaths are easy through poison or using weapons. It's a fact that Ekta Kapoor's serials pushed people back into the dark ages. Her serials were traditional, melodramatic, and a throwback to another era altogether, when mothers-in-law were nasty and wicked and daughters-in-law subservient. And the themes were always negative. A few had ancestral feuds going on with the central families of the storyline. Others were cruelly driven by their lust for money and power. Their means of destruction often involved breaking up the idealistic joint families. They created misunderstandings, kidnapped children, murdered the protagonists, and took over businesses. What was pathetic was that her Saas Bahu serials were dubbed and shown in every part of India. So you could not escape from it even if you were traveling. So the hatred within families spread all over India. Here, I'm talking only about gullible people who can be easily influenced by TV serials. Thus, all sacred Hindu relationships were trampled upon for raising TRP and making cash registers work overtime. They were doing the same thing of which they were blaming Republic TV of doing. Again, we are talking about double standards. This self-proclaimed queen of Indian TV soaps herself admits, "My shows are as stupid as others," and that you can't be credible in India if you are entertaining. This is what she talks about the Indian people, which is why she came out with a new medium for youngsters called Alt Balaji, which is a middle path between daily soaps and movies. This is shown digitally, where you pay and watch these series, and these series are clearly soft porn. This woman knows to make money at any cost. So Alt Balaji gave large doses of sex and violence. Ekta Kapoor was the one who said, when she featured Sunny Leon, the porn star in Ragini MMS2, that Ragini is a sweet girl, or rather, Sunny is a sweet girl who came into a sex starved nation, and that many men, including her brother, Tushar Kapoor, were pressurizing her for a dance sequence with Sunny, which clearly indicates that Indian men are sex starved. Isn't that, Ekta? Next, she says, objectification of sex happens in the mind of the people who objectifies. Your mind is dirty when you objectify a woman, she says. A man, when he removes his shirt, is called a Casanova. When a woman wears something revealing, she is called a slut. In your house, you check her out. In public, you ridicule her. But isn't this exactly what you project in your films and series, Ekta? You make money on sex. In fact, you were the first one who included a sex clause in your contracts with actors. You further degraded the image of women by bringing in nudity clause, where actors could be legally bound to show skin if a film demands it. Put simply, the nudity clause implies that any artist signing up to work in the film in question becomes legally bound to expose as much as he or she is asked to, according to the demands of the script. The clause also covers shooting intimate scenes and the use of explicit language. Thus, she succeeded in once again pushing the envelope when it came to sex and sexuality in her films. Among the first films to come under the clause was XXX, Ekta's new production under her banner Balaji Motion Pictures. The film was an erotic thriller directed by Ken Ghosh and featured a fresh cast. This was at a time when the Central Board of Film Certification in India had created much controversy by coming down heavily on sex, violence, and explicit language in films. But she did not care two hoots. People kept giving her a chance because she was the daughter of a disciplined and religious actor, Jitendra, who made yearly visits through Sabrimala after strict fasts and visited Tirupati. But his children were not like him. Superstitious? Yes, they are. Tushar was a super flop actor who acted with more flop actors like Ritesh Deshmukh in Sajid Khan's films because nobody else would have offered him many films. Ekta's public image was also mocked several times in social media. The time when she threw bananas at elderly women lined up near a temple, as though she was doing them a favor. When some bananas fell down, a woman, her grandmother's age, meant to pick it up. It made many of us upset to see this arrogance. Her arrogance in a chat with Sri Guru, where she spoke to him with as much regard as she would have for her driver. It shocked one and all. The 100 rings in her fingers showed that she was superstitious to boot. One thing is very clear, that money cannot buy class or culture. In her case, it is more than evident. Reportedly, trouble for the producer began after 2 police complaints were lodged against her for humiliating and disrespecting the Indian Army through a scene from the Alt Balaji web series. The controversial scene involved an army man's wife performing an intimate act with another man, making him wear the army uniform, while the soldier performed his official duty. Ekta Kapoor's OTT platform, Alt Balaji, streamed erotic web series XXX Season 2, which not only spreads obscenity, but also hurts religious sentiments of a particular community, which is what the police station inspector, Satish Kumar Dwivedi, cited from the complaint that was received by them. Balaji Films was booked under 94, which is obscene acts and songs, and 298, which is uttering words with deliberate intent to wound the religious sentiments of any person, of the Indian Penal Code Act and the state emblem of India, the report said. Another committee of Public Jagriti Mission a Chandigarh-based registered society, filed a civil suit against Balaji Telefilms, Ekta Kapoor, and Alt Balaji Entertainment at Chandigarh District Court. They sought directions for banning the latter company and the channel from producing and telecasting any TV series or web series, alleging that the company is spreading nudity, obscenity, and promoting improper usage of the national emblem. What did Ekta do? In many of these cases, she apologizes in a short video and says that she deleted the scene with as much casual, in such a casual manner that we know that it doesn't affect her at all. And that was the end of it. Miraculously, she is rescued by powerful people. Ekta never really bothered. In fact, many of the film producers, directors producing and launching movies in the form of web series through various platforms like Netflix, Amazon, Woot, and other various channels are not monitored or covered under any censorship of any authorities, which clearly shows that they do not have any regulatory mechanism. And the fact is that production of such series by the defendants are sending a wrong message to the society and is very demoralizing. More recently, when Sushant Singh died, Ekta Kapoor was the first one to sympathize with him on his assumed suicide through a tweet. And dramatically, she opened a fund in Sushant's name and titled it Pavitra Rishta Fund, after the serial in which he acted, for people who were depressed. Now, who told you, Ekta, that he was depressed? Whatever has been discovered about Sushant has shown that he was a very intelligent man who was murdered. So, 1 month later, despite evidence pointing to the contrary, she still believes it's a suicide due to depression. But when the family said no one could cash in on his death and bring out anything in his name, Ekta dissolved it. As fast as she could, she started it. In fact, in this emotional moment, Ankita Lokhande wanted to start Pavitra Rishta too. Everyone seemed to be trying to cash in on his demise. In one of the earlier videos, Payal Rohatgi very clearly mentioned that in a reality dance program called Nach Baliye, in which she was also a part, Ekta tried to manipulate the whole show to suit her interests. How can it be a reality show when you control the show? This is something we need to ask them, which means that it is rigged, just like a cricket show. That people had to stand up when she walked into the hall. It's that was the way she wanted it, and that when her favorite Rashmi Desai had to go to USA for an event, she allowed her to fake a leg fracture, which of course was later discovered by other participants. So everything is fake. Even a reality show is fake. Now, this same woman says she's excited to be in such august company, returning back to the fact that they're going to bring out new content. In such august company, recreating and curating stories that made our great nation stand tall with hope and integrity, and she ends with Jai Hind. Doesn't this sound like Akshay pleading in public with folded hands? Or Tapsi asking people to return to theatres in her tweets? The motive is only one. Like a chameleon, these people keep changing colors. But the public are not fools. They have made up their minds that they will not fund them in making them rich and spill their agenda on us. Thank you, friends, for subscribing and joining me this evening. Please post your valuable comments. I will share them on my Twitter handle. Thank you once again, and good night.